Sometimes they say you gotta fake it till you make it. This is the story of a highly charismatic and deceptive man who faked his way to the top of one of the most competitive sports in the world. Here's the story of Carlos Kaiser, the greatest football con artist of all time. Carlos Kaiser, or known at birth as Carloso Henrique Raposo, I'm butchering that so badly, was born on the 2nd of April 1963 in Brazil. To really give context how iconic our boy Carlos was, here's a direct quote from him. "I'm the greatest footballer who never played football. I slept with 1,000 women and pretended to be injured my whole career." A former Real Madrid player also sums it up pretty well. Kaiser has been one of the most iconic figures in world football. He had only one problem though. That was the ball. You ask what this all means? Well, are you all familiar with the quote, "You fake it until you make it"? Well, Carlos here faked it for 2 decades and ended up with multiple professional contracts, so I guess you could call that making it. Carlos always wanted to be a footballer. He wanted to be a footballer, but that guy did not want to touch the ball. I don't know, man, that might be a bit hard to pull off. Carlos wasn't actually a particularly bad striker in his early years, and ended up impressing the scouts of Puebla during a training session and being signed by the Mexican club. I know you're about to say, "Oh, it's not even that bad, you're just a hater, man," but he did not play a single match and was released only months later. Upon his return to Brazil, that is where the con show really began. Carlos befriended many footballers and managers, including the likes of all these people who I cannot pronounce properly, including a fellow Carlos Torres, Ricardo Roca, and Renato Guasho. Man, what good connections. Look at them here getting into the football spirit. Carlos, although being useless on the field, was the kingpin of the Brazil party scene, so I guess he had one thing going for him. He maintained this huge network to be recommended whenever he needed to transfer to a new club. Although with a physique similar to that of a professional footballer, he had absolutely lackluster skill, more or less basically having zero bag on the pitch. His fraud consisted of signing a short contract where he would merely claim to lack match fitness, in which he would spend the first few weeks with physical-only conditional training, where he could shine. Damn, Carlos, you strong as hell, I can't lie. Thank you. Yeah, bro, he's right. I can't wait to see you on the pitch. Carlos? Whenever he was required to train actually with the football, he would fake a hamstring injury and get sent off. During the time, the technology made it difficult to detect his injuries, so everyone just took his word for it. Carlos also had befriended a dentist whom he claimed he had a focal infection whenever any club wanted to see more from him on the pitch. Using these methods, he was able to rinse and repeat this process over various clubs for months at a time, without ever being exposed for his fraudulent behavior. Another scheme of his was to become acquainted with local journalists that could jack up the wildest stories about his footballing success. In one newspaper article, it was reported that he had such a great time at Puebla, his first club back in the day, and that he even became an honorary Mexican citizen to play for the national team. He did not play a single game. He would also use toy mobile phones, being uncommon at the time, to create fake conversations in foreign languages, or reject non-existent transfer offers around his managers to create an image of himself as a valuable player. It's like whenever you're at the clubs and you're trying to show off to this 10 out of 10 that you got this roster, but in fact you've never talked to another woman in your entire life. Actually, when you think about it, this situation would be the only thing Carlos didn't have to fake. Carlos himself claims to be a magnet for women as a result of being a footballer. He would also claim to sleep with at least 3 women a day. Dude, this guy's libido needs to be studied. During his club season at Botafogo, in 1981, he nearly got caught. Yes, I pretend this transfer, very good. I'm in $1 million, stupid Brazilian, can't understand. Yo, stupid what? Uh-oh. There was a club doctor on site that was fluent in English and temporarily caught him for his con, but he probably just charismaed him up and laughed it off. He later dipped and rejoined Flamengo and stayed for a few months with the same injury scam. In '86, he allegedly moved to Europe and joined the French Division 2 club Gazelle Ajaccio, where he knew someone playing. Bro, does this guy have the whole planet befriended on Facebook or something? Come on, man. At his presentation, the club arranged a training session with the local fans, and afraid of being caught, he intentionally shot all the balls into the crowd while kissing the club's badge as a sign of disrespect. Come again now? You're telling me these fans pulled up to see their favorite club get a new signing, and 2 minutes in, he's pelting balls at full speed towards your extended family? Yep, that sounds about right. He barely played at the club and returned to Brazil the following year. Not all is lost because, well, guess what? More friendships with French journalists as the top goal scorer at that French Division 2 club, where he was rumored to play 8 seasons. He played for more like 8 months, but shh. One of the clubs he returned to in Brazil, Bangu, was sick of his injuries during one game where they were down 2-0. The club's major sponsors were tired of funding this dud who only pushes tin at the gym, so they ordered the coach to play him. When Carlos was sent to warm up to be put on, he saw a group of fans shouting abuse at the players and decided to dish out some knuckle sandwiches. He immediately received a red card without even participating in the actual match. Man, what a shame. What a shame, Carlos. After the match, he lied to the sponsors and claimed that the supporters were heckling him instead of calling him a thief, and he fought them out of self-defense. He was forgiven and earned a 6-month extension. You're telling me bro got put on the pitch for like 30 seconds, knocked a few dudes out, gaslit his entire staff at his club that it was actually not his fault, and got his contract extended without even touching the ball? Oh my lord. Nowadays, you'd expect him to be in big trouble after all of his cons have come out. No, not quite. We only know all this information because this guy sat down, filmed a full-length documentary in which he reenacts all the events of his tomfoolery for millions to see, and discusses in detail his fraudulent behavior. Thank you, Carlos. Very cool. Bro, just look at how star-studded his football career is on Wikipedia. Bro, look at all the games he played. None! For like 13 years, man! Now that is about it for the summary of the greatest athletes to never play their sport. I hope you have enjoyed it. As always, please feel free to subscribe, and I hope you fake it until you make it too. Just don't knock anyone out on the way. Okay, bye.